This episode starts with Spike and Twilight getting ready for a meteor shower. We are given some direct insight to Twilight and Spike's relationship, and yes, it is endearing to know that Spike is willingly doing all of this. Before they leave, Twilight asks Spike to fetch a book. Unfortunately, the dust causes him to sneeze fire and burn the book, so he lies and says that he can't find it. They get to the meteor shower place, and every pony else starts fawning over Spike. Cindy Morrow, I know what you're trying to do here with contrast and all, but from my end, this attention seems to be coming out of nowhere. Build up to these kind of things, or at the very least, don't hammer it in so much. And Spike falls asleep, and yes, we get that Spike punch joke. Later that night, Twilight puts Spike to bed and starts writing a report on comets when she hears something. She goes out to check on it, and ends up leaving the door open. Then, seeing a shadow, she opens the window, and the wind blows out her paper. Suddenly, Twilight has become a coward, claiming that searching the shadows is a job for Spike. Twilight, we've seen you deal with all kinds of monsters. It isn't like you to be afraid of the dark. All of the creepy, I guess, stuff was caused by an owl who brought Twilight's paper back. Hey kids, if you ever see a wild owl in your house, you should probably call an exterminator, because they do carry diseases. Twilight doesn't seem to consider that, so she offers to let the owl stay, because of one simple act of kindness. The next morning, Spike has slept in, but he learns that the owl, now named Owlicious, has done all of his morning chores. Speaking of Spike, he doesn't really want any help from this junior assistant. Twilight doesn't really seem to care, and she's off so her two indentured servants, assistants, can get to know each other. And Spike becomes completely paranoid about the owl taking his job because potatoes. Yes, Cindy Morrow, you made it clear he doesn't like the owl. Now you need to make it clear why.
Number one, not freaky feathers over there.
No one said you weren't. Not yet, anyway. Stop trying to make the owl creepy! There's no point to it! Spike is reading up on owls, and he sees everyone else fawning over Owlicious. This is the episode's killing blow. Every pony says the same thing they said about Spike during the meteor shower. They've known Spike for what, a year? At least? This is the first time they've ever seen the owl. Ever!
Such a star! I just had to make this little bow for you.
You've never seen him before. I must also make it known that Rarity only gave the bow to Owlicious after Spike made himself known. And Spike realizes the whole stupidity of the situation and stops watching them. Rainbow suggests that Spike is jealous, and Fluttershy suggests that Spike is worried or threatened. Here's an idea. Just one teensy tiny little sentiment to stop me from believing you're both idiots. If you're worried about him, console him, or stop putting that owl on an equal pedestal to one of your friends.
Replace him? Ha! That's crazy. Spike knows he can't be replaced.
Or he should know. Spike is rambling on to himself while Twilight comes in with the owl riding on her back. Twilight asks Spike to find a book, but the owl gets it before he can. And I just realized something. Shouldn't Owlicious be sleeping? I mean, owls are nocturnal, and in the last scene we saw that it was clearly day. Oh no, he can't do that. We have to abandon logic just to make Spike as jealous as possible. And they do that. Later, Twilight breaks a quill, and Spike can't find one anywhere in the library. Considering that there's a bird in the house, you know where this is going. Spike goes all over Ponyville looking for a quill. And when he gets back, he finds that Owlicious let Twilight have one of his feathers. Never mind, that's not how writing quills work at all.
I was calling out for you when you were turning this place upside down. Aloysius gave me one of his feathers to use as a quill.
And you just let him go on anyway? You didn't even send the owl to bring him back? That gets Spike to snap, which I'm thoroughly convinced is the only thing that Cindy Morrow cares about at this point. I just realized something about Twilight's character. It's incredibly delicate. If she's even the least bit stupid, she comes off as incredibly annoying. You should be astute enough to realize that Twilight is going through something. After all, he lives with you, and you should know how he acts when he's upset.
Aloysius found it right where it belongs.
Of course he did. So Twilight confronts Spike, and Spike weasels out the truth. Twilight ends up being very disappointed in Spike. You know what, Twilight? I'm glad your book got burnt. I'll burn down your whole damn house if I'll get you to notice something. Spike assumes that Owlicious set him up, and Spike wants to teach Owlicious a lesson, and he sees a field mouse, giving him an idea. And he dons a top hat, evil mustache, and a cape. If you're going to vilify a character, be a little more subtle about it. So, Spike steals a cat toy from Rarity and monologues about his plan. Is talking to yourself a common occurrence in Equestria? There is no need to explain this. We know Spike's intention, and we see what he's going to do. Spike tears at the mouse, covers it in ketchup, and acts like an idiot so he gets caught by Twilight. He didn't have to tell us anything, except maybe how he thought that this was going to work, considering the fact that I haven't seen the owl leave Twilight's back.
I don't know what upsets me more. That you deliberately tried to set up Aloysius, or that you actually thought this pathetic attempt would work?
Oh, so now you can notice the obvious. I'm trying to cut back on these, but I have to use it. And stop trying to make the owl creepy. It's not working. No, I have no idea what you're trying to do with it, but whatever it is, it's not working.
She doesn't love me anymore.
Clearly not as much as she loves that owl. So Spike runs away, uses another overused joke.
Could it get any worse?
And hides in a cave. And he comes across a treasure trove. Wow, you are a dumbass. I mean, everyone's been a dumbass this entire episode. But you really take the cake if you expect the cave full of treasure to not be guarded by something. Like, say, another dragon. Yep, the dragon's pissed. Really pissed. So Spike turns tail and runs, but gets cornered, only to be saved by your lord and savior, Owlicious. So the owl, with no combat training, can go toe-to-toe with a full-grown dragon. Twilight gets Spike's attention and they run out of the cave, and they charge out of the forest. And once again, the owl manages to come in handy, as it can see in the dark. Don't unicorns have illumination magic? If Tweedledum can manage it, I'm sure you can. But no, they have to make the owl as unbelievably awesome as possible. To be honest though, this climax is one of the episode's few redeeming factors.
It's just that sometimes I need some help at night.
Except Owlicious was helping you during the day, consistently.
Owls are nocturnal, so I asked Aloysius to help.
Once again, except for the beginning and the end, this episode has been completely during the day.
I should have been more sensitive.
Or, you know, not blind to the obvious.
Forgive me? Who? Me. Forgive me, Spike.
That's not funny.
How did you guys know where I was?
It was your ketchup-covered feet.
Bullshit. It was raining. Ketchup washes away in water, especially in mud. Take a guess what the moral is. Don't be a jealous prick. If it wasn't obvious enough, Spike's first outing was one of his worst. Sunday Morrow, I understand what you were trying to do. Just like I understand you were going for the so bad it's good feel in Showstoppers. You tried to make this episode completely from Spike's point of view, and just like before, you failed this time too. First of all, if that was your intention, you didn't telegraph it good enough. From where I stand, each of the main six look like bigger pricks than Spike does, especially Twilight and Rarity. Yes, Rarity, and she only got 3 lines in the entire episode. This episode was just incredibly mean. All the main six fawned over Owlicious at first sight, which makes it seem like their affections are petty, as in a friendship that you do not want. And let's bring up logic. In cartoons, you're allowed to get away with some suspension of disbelief. There's some things I can buy and some things I can't, especially if you bring up the fallacies yourself. What was that again?
It's just that sometimes I need some help at night.
Yeah, except almost the entire episode took place during the day, which makes it seem like you really are trying to replace Spike. This is 2 failures in a row, Cindy Morrow. I know you're good at this writing thing. Just stop doing these gimmicks and tell a story from a neutral point of view. You're best when you do it that way.